into standing. And as you get into standing, just make sure your toes are facing forward here. And what you can actually do is rock your weight back and forth a little bit. So just kind of let your hips move forward, let your hips move back. Just a little movement of the feet, heels coming up, toes coming up. And you can make the rock even bigger as you go if you want here. And then eventually just allow the feet to rest and even out your weight from front to back. Arms then come at your sides and then just start to rotate your thumbs back and take your pinky fingers forward a little bit here. So allow your feet to anchor into the floor and then the rest of you starts to lift upward. Take a few big deep breaths through the rib cage. The belly won't move very much here because the belly is supporting your body to stand upright. And as you exhale, let your shoulders sink down as your fingertips reach down towards your feet. And then with our next few breaths, we're going to move our arms with it. What you're going to do is you're going to bend your elbows so they're not going to be completely straight. And you're going to pull your elbows back behind you. So we got a little bit of a chest opener here. And we're just going to move up and down with these bent elbows, just trying to open up the front side of the chest. You can start to make this bigger if you want. Inhaling, coming up, exhaling, coming down. And then next breath, as your hands come up, bring your fingertips behind your ears. Pull the shoulders back here. Next breath, we're going to let one elbow release down. And then we're going to come up, switch sides. We're just going to keep moving side to side, opening up the tissues on the side body. And then next breath, as we come up, we're going to take and press the right hand forward like you're telling somebody to stop. Left hand is going to go back. You want to pull your left hip to the front though. And then let's switch that. Now right hip, pull it forward. Now arms straight out at your sides, push the walls away from you. And then turn your pinky fingers forward and down. So your shoulders are really going to roll in. Now roll your pinky fingers the opposite way. Reach out through your wrists. And then arms coming down here. We'll take and separate the feet. So turning sideways on your mat, separate the feet, toes turned outward here. We're going to take a few breaths as we reach up. And then as we exhale, swooping down and then right back up. So one more, as we come up here, we're going to come into a warrior two. So we're going to take the right foot, turn the right foot forward, And we're gonna bend that knee, and we're just gonna bend and straighten here. And if your arms get tired being extended, you can do hands at heart. And then we'll keep that front knee bent. If your arms were in, extend them back out. And now we're gonna just do some flows forward or back and then to the front. So again, a stretch of the side body here. Try to keep your knee right above your ankle. And then coming up, we're going to take and switch our feet so we're facing the other direction. Again, we'll just go into that bend and straighten of the front knee. And now we'll keep that knee bent. Again, we'll flow to the back and then to the front. Last time. We'll come back up, straighten the legs, walk the legs inward. And now we're going to turn towards the front of our mat. So the long way of our mat here. We're going to start first by bending the knees, and we're going to sit back into chair pose. So pull your knees back, hips are going to go back here. Next exhalation, keep the knees bent, but fold over the legs. As the hands come down, we'll keep the left foot forward. Take and step your right foot back. And we're going to tap that knee down. You can let your hips sink and then straighten. You're going to step right back up, and you're going to switch over to the other side. Again, tap the knee down, sink the hips for a moment, and then step it right back up. So this is going to be, again, another little just kind of series here. Warming up the hips. And now the next time that the right leg is back, you can keep that right leg back, hips just releasing here. Try to open up your shoulders, lifting the spine upward here. And then we'll take the opposite knee and we'll come back. We'll come into modified plank position. And then from here, we're just going to add a couple little push-ups. So not a full push-up, just a slight little bend in the elbow, right back up. So maybe lower an inch or two. And now next one, let's go all the way down onto the belly, arms coming straight out in front of you. We're going to lift opposite arm, opposite leg, come down, switch sides. Belly muscles lifted here. And then next breath, hands coming underneath your shoulders here. Tops of the feet are going to gently press into the floor. Lift your heart up. Squeeze your elbows towards your rib cage. Take your gaze down for a moment and extend the back of the neck. And then from here, start to tuck the toes, press into the hands, downward facing dog. Add a pretty big bend into the knees to start with. And with the knees bent, just allow the hips to move right to left. And then from here, we got our right foot's gonna come up in between the hands, and then we'll sink that back knee down, softening the hips, steadying the spine upward. Tucking the back toe, you're gonna lift the knee up. We'll step it all the way forward here. And while you stay released down, shift your weight towards the front of your feet and then towards your heels. So just like we did right away in the beginning of class when we were standing up tall. And then next breath, bending the knees, sit your hips back, chair pose. From here, coming to standing up all the way, nice and tall. Okay, that was a really long series. We won't do all of those elements, but we're going to go through that again here. So chair pose. Next exhalation, fold it out. Hands coming down, left foot is going to come all the way back. We're going to drop that knee down into our low lunge. This time we're going to walk our hands over to the left, looking back. We'll walk our hands to the front again, stepping the leg back. We're going to do those little push-ups. So if you want to lift your knees up off the floor for more of a challenge, you can go for it. If you want to sink down a little bit more, just keep the elbows right next to the ribs. And now all the way down onto the belly. Instead of doing arms fully extended in front of us, we're going to do just goal posts here. And we're going to pinch the shoulder blades together. So draw your elbows down just a little bit and then squeeze your shoulder blades. Okay, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to just lift the heart up, lift the legs. Holding here, we're going to cross the ankles, uncross, cross, cross. Just quick movements, scissoring back and forth. And then from here, releasing down, tops of the feet, gently resting and pressing into the floor, elbows underneath your shoulders, little back bend. Hands coming underneath the armpits. We're not going to go right into downward facing dog. We're actually going to go into extended child's pose first. So extended child's pose, reach the fingertips forward. Walk the fingertips over to the left side. And then walk the fingertips over to the right. Hands coming middle here, up onto your knees, tucking the toes, downward facing dog. Maybe start to take the bend out of your knees a little bit. And then from here, we're going to take the left foot. It's going to come up in between the hands. Right foot's going to come down. Rest the top side of that foot. And we're going to walk our hands over to the right side. Walking our hands back to the front. Tuck the right toes and then step it all the way up. Fold forward. We'll take 3 deep breaths here. And then after that third exhalation, bend the knees, sit back, chair pose. And then next breath, all the way up nice and tall. Okay, from here, we're going to grab, again, if you have a heavier weight, you can just grab one of those. If you have smaller weights, you can use both if you want to here. We're gonna do a little bit wider of a stance. Toes can turn outward here. So what we're gonna come into is we're gonna come basically into a low squat, and you can just stay right here. Or if you want, you can add a row up. So hips way back. All right, we got 5 more. Two more. Last one. Okay, what you're gonna do now is we're gonna do what we did in the beginning of class. So feet are gonna go wider. Right leg is gonna turn into that warrior 2. So right knee is gonna be bent. Your weight is gonna go in your left arm, okay? What you're gonna do is you're gonna go down towards the foot. You're gonna pull the elbow up, rotate, press towards the ceiling, to your shoulder, rotate down. So front knee always staying bent here, that 90-degree angle. Okay, 2 more. This is our last one. Okay, come to the center. Okay, toes turn out. So it's a little bit wider of a stance than the first time that we did this. Again, we'll come down, maybe tap the weight. You have that option of that row up. So toes will be turned out even more here into kind of what we call horse pose or goddess pose in yoga. We got 3 more. 3, 2, last one. Okay, now we're gonna pivot over. So our left foot will be bent, weights in our right arm. Come down and then open up. Three more. Last one. Okay, come in, feet turned out again. Okay, just bend here. Try to get the knees right over top of your ankles. And then tailbone has got to drop down a little bit. Okay, we're gonna come into a twist. So try not to move the knees or the pelvis. You're twisting right at your navel. Pull the knees back towards the pinky toes a little bit. Okay, we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming up, walk the legs in here. You're gonna take your weight into one arm. Doesn't matter which one, we're gonna do both, okay? So what we're gonna do here is we're going to do a squat chair pose, kind of squat chair pose. This one arm's gonna press up, back down. Just a one-sided. So obliques are going to have to work differently because we're not paired evenly side to side. Three more. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, before we go to the other side, take your weight onto its head. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to bend the left knee. Left hand will stay onto the head of the weight. We're going to take the right arm and we're going to reach it up. And then next breath, bend the right knee, right hand down, rotate other side. Hand coming down. Okay, shift your weight over to the other arm now. Again, we got that sitting back, press the weight up. Three more. Last one here. Okay, what you're gonna do now is place your weight at the front of your mat, and we're gonna turn towards the front. So same kind of flow. We're gonna bend the knees, we're gonna sit back, chair pose. As you're here, see if you can lift all 10 toes and spread them wide. As the toes sink, fold all the way over the legs. Bending the knees more so the hands can come down. This time we're going to step both feet all the way back, downward facing dog. Then from here, we're going to come down onto our knees. We're going to come into a modified plank, but we're going to take the weight underneath one hand, okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to take that weight towards our back hip. Like we had a back pocket. We're going to take the weight right to that, come down. Okay, so again, so we're going to challenge the obliques because we're not evenly matched side to side. If you need less, you're just going to walk your knees in closer towards your arms. So you don't have to be in a full plank. You decide. Belly's got to pull up here because it's supporting the spine. 2 more. Okay. Let's roll that over right away to the other side. Same thing. Two more. All right, once you have that last one, take your weight out to the side. Knees can go back a little bit if they weren't already there. We're gonna do little push-ups right here. And you might, your pinky fingers should almost be to the outside edge of your mat. That's how wide your arms should be here. And now let's lower all the way down onto the belly. Instead of doing the goalpost arms, we're just gonna do arms at our sides. So palms are gonna face down, hands are gonna hover. We're gonna squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then we're gonna release. So this is a target exercise for the rhomboids. Gaze will be straight down. Actually draw your chin down and in a little bit. Two more. All right, elbows coming underneath you here. And as they do, we're gonna flip the palms up this time. Gaze will be down at your fingers. As the hands come down, we're gonna press back into child's pose again. Walk your hands over to the left. Let's walk them to the right. Coming back to the center, take your hands again pretty wide so the pinky finger is almost to that outside edge. And then we'll tuck the toes, hips high, downward facing dog. Next exhalation, start to walk your feet up towards your hands, fold it all the way out. And then allowing the knees to bend, sit back, chair pose. Standing all the way up. Okay, from here, we're gonna grab our weight again. We're gonna go sideways on our mat, so wide stance. This time, toes are gonna be facing forward, okay? So gonna be the one difference here. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna bend the right knee, weight will be in the left hand. So we're gonna bend, arms gonna come across, and then again, we're gonna reach it out to the side and up. Bend into that knee, sit your hips back, so it's a side movement, activating the glute. Press it up. Two more. Last one. Okay, switch arm, other side. Two more. Two. Last one. Okay, weight's gonna come in front of you. Stand it up on one end. Turn your heels out. Okay, from here, left arm's gonna stay down. Right arm's gonna turn up, twist. As you do this twist, it's likely that the left hip has kind of dropped down and in. I want you to pull that left hip back up, which all of a sudden is going to make this twist a lot harder. Hands going to come down. Switch it to the other side. Getting this right hip probably just tucked way in. See if you can lift that right hip back up a little bit. Next breath, hand will come down. Bend your knees, lift up here. Right leg is gonna come into that warrior two. Okay, from here, we're gonna do right arm only. It's gonna be a bicep curl. So bend really deep into this right knee. Take your right knee towards the pinky toe. 2 more. Straighten, switch, pivot your feet. Weight goes to the opposite arm. Bend a little bit deeper in that front knee. Two more. Okay, straightening the legs. You might have to bring your feet in a little bit here. Toes are still gonna go out. Knees bend. Try to get the knees right over the ankles. Pull your knees back. Draw your tailbone down. Weight's gonna come over your head, triceps. Sink the hips a little lower. Good, keep pulling the knees back. Here we have 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straighten the legs here. And you can let your weight come down, walk the legs in. You're gonna turn towards the front of your mat. So before we go into chair pose, let's just add a pause here. Arms at our sides, draw your thumbs back a little bit, standing tall. Then from here, let's sit it back, chair pose. Lift all 10 toes. Setting the toes down, fold all the way over the legs. See if you can straighten the legs just a little bit more, lifting the tailbone up towards the ceiling. Then bending the knees, place the hands down. You're going to step both legs back, downward facing dog. Take and just gently roll your weight of your body towards the outside edge of your feet. So towards your pinky toe just a little bit. And that might lift up the arch of your foot slightly. Bending your knees, take and come down. We're going to come into a modified plank. You have the option to do a full plank if you'd like. So what we're going to do here is we're going to tap opposite shoulder, going side to side, oblique work here. Okay, we got 4 more. So there's 4, 3, 2, and last one. Okay, from here, the left, sorry, not the left, the right hand's gonna stay down, right knee's gonna down. We're gonna turn towards the side, and you're gonna get your weight again. So it's the same thing we've done in various different movements. We're gonna take the weight towards the hand, and then we're gonna reach it straight up, bring it towards our shoulder, rotate down. If you want to take and lift and straighten this bottom leg, you can do it this way if you want. It's up to you. Two more. Last one. From here, you're going to switch over to the other side, same setup. Two more. Okay, last one. You're going to take that weight down then with the last one. You're gonna come into your modified plank position or toes up. You got a couple little push-ups right here. And then all the way down onto the belly. Hands are gonna come behind our back this time, palms facing up. We're gonna pinch the shoulder blades and draw the elbows up. Let's lift the heart up off the floor, lift the legs here. See if you can squeeze the shoulder blades a little bit more. And as you release down here, we're gonna press all the way back, extended child's pose. We're gonna change the arm position here though, so that we can get a stretch to the triceps. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring your elbows down onto the floor and you're gonna bring the palms of your hands together behind the base of your skull. And the palms might, like the base of the palms might not touch, it might just be your fingertips. And then if you don't feel enough stretch, you're gonna walk your elbows in towards your ears and then elbows towards the front of your mat. So you can breathe really deeply through the rib cage, and on your exhale, maybe even adding a like a really big sigh outward. If your arm muscles start to have some length added to them, maybe again walking the elbows forward to the front of your mat a little bit more here. And then next breath, coming up onto all fours. What you're going to do is you're going to walk your hands over to the right. Okay, the hips though are not going to move towards the heels. Hips are going to stay high. You're going to walk your hands out, and basically you're doing down dog, upper body. So good stretch of the shoulders, armpits here. Walking the hands back in, going over to the left side, same thing. Walking the hands in, you're going to come into downward facing dog for a few breaths. So you notice how your arches may like fall, you might fall down here and you might put a lot of weight on your big toe. So you can rotate that weight a little bit towards your pinky toe to lift up your arch again. And then releasing here. We're going to come all the way down onto our stomach. As you do that, we're going to take the left arm and it's going to come underneath the right arm. Okay, so right arm's going to reach the front of your mat, left arm's going to come underneath, palm's going to face up. The tendency is to kind of roll towards your left shoulder. You want to try to keep both shoulders squared down towards your mat and then let your head sink. Your breath here is going to flow. Well, we're going to concentrate on the breath flowing into the back side of the body. So with each breath, try to feel the ribs on the back of the body start to expand and lift. Okay, next breath, you're gonna unwind your arms. Now the opposite, so right arm's gonna go across, palm up. Left arm reaches out. You can sink here, breathe. Try to relax your face and your jaw. Each breath is just a release of tension in the physical body, and also release of tension of stress and worry. From here, unwinding. Take and press your hips all the way back, extended child's pose. As you do that, we're gonna take the hands wide, so again, pinky fingers to the outside edge of your mat, and then flip the palms up here as the forehead sinks. And then as the hands release down, we're gonna come and have a seat. And as you do that, make sure you can grab your weight, because we're gonna use it for this next movement. We're going to bend the knees, squeeze the legs together. We're gonna flex the feet and really ground our heels into the floor. So we're gonna press the heels in. We're gonna grab our weight, spine is gonna be long and tall here. And then we're gonna work on twisting. So just when we were doing twisting standing, I mentioned don't let the knees and hips move. It's the same thing here. So as you twist, your knees shouldn't go one long, one long, one long. The knee should be exactly the same length every time you twist. Get 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Taking that down here. You're gonna take legs just straight out in front of you for a moment. We're gonna take the right arm out to the side. So kind of walk it away from you slightly. Left arm's gonna come out. And then what we're gonna do is as this right arm walks away more, we're gonna start to just bend the elbow to intensify the stretch on the left side. The trick though is not to roll all your weight towards your right butt bone. You gotta keep the left butt bone down onto the floor. And then let's come up. Switch the other side. Walk this hand out and bend the elbow. Coming up here. We're gonna bend the knees, just take them over to one side. We're gonna come up onto hands and knees. The right leg is going to come forward. Tailbone is going to be released downward in this. And then we're gonna bend into that front knee just a little bit, as long as the tailbone can stay released down, where we're not tilting our pelvis forward. Okay, you can stay right here. That might be a really intense stretch in the front of the left leg. Or you can take your fingertips behind your ears, draw your elbows back a little bit, lift your sternum, lean back slightly. Keep breathing here. Next breath, release. Hands can come down. You're going to take that leg back, switch over to the other side. Get your pelvis set. Bend into the front knee. And then if you want, add the hands and the extension back. Next breath, as you release, you're gonna switch to the right foot coming in front of you again. This time, hands are gonna come to the inside of that leg. So you're gonna walk your leg over so that your pinky toes come to the outside edge of your mat, arms to the inside. Let your hips sink a lot. And then you get to decide if maybe you just wanna bend the elbows, come down, or maybe you want to rest all the way onto the elbows. It's gonna just where you go is going to depend upon your individual hips. In my personal body, when I do this, I feel like if I were to sway a little bit right to left, that actually gets into what we call our hip flexors, the muscles right in front of the iliacus, a little bit better. So maybe that's you. Maybe you do a little sway. You can also take this front knee and you can go out to the side and pull it in a little bit. You want to try that. Let's come out of that. Let's switch it over to the other side. Honoring this side compared to the other, you may not, you may have to make different modifications for it. Big deep breaths here. Just following the leading of your own body, how you can take this deeper. Next breath, let's release here. We're going to again have a seat. We're going to bring the legs out in front of us. And then from here, let's take and roll one vertebrae at a time down onto our backs. And let's start with the knees just staying bent here and adding a little rock of the knees right to left. And then as we come center, let's bring the right knee in towards the chest. Left leg will go long. We're going to pull that knee in, and as we do so, tuck your chin a little bit, bring your nose towards your knee, squeeze through the belly. Dropping the head, neck, and shoulders down. You're now going to take this knee to the outside of the body. You may let go with your left hand and even kind of wrap your right elbow around your knee and pull the knee out to the side, which is going to get back into like an inner thigh stretch here. We're going to take and switch. So left knee coming in. Draw your chin down a little bit, nose towards knee, squeeze. And then releasing the upper body. Knee starting to go to the outside of the shoulder. And then we'll bring both knees in towards the chest, hug them in, either holding or adding some rocking. Coming center with the knees if you're moving, take your nose up towards your knees, squeeze into a little ball. Release the head, neck, and shoulders down. Both legs coming down towards the floor. Arms are going to come at your side and you're going to reach your fingertips towards your heels. We're trying to get our shoulders away from our ears. From here, draw your chin down a lot and then take your chin up. So just a little nod of the head here. And then bring your chin kind of into a neutral position, which is going to be down just a little bit. And now turn your head right to left. And as you do that, you might find you want to stay on one side and just hold that stretch. And if you emphasize your fingertips reaching towards your heel, that might make the stretch on the side of the neck even greater. Couple more breaths here, finding any other spaces in your neck that need to be relaxed. And then just bring your head center and then relax the arms, relax the legs. While you rest here, I'm going to take you through a little bit of a relaxation technique. So on your next breath, make fists with your hands and squeeze your feet, curl your toes under, creating tension here. And then on your next inhalation, relax your hands, open them up, relax your toes. Your next breath, again, engage the muscles in your hands, engage your feet. See if you can tighten up the belly. So squeeze the belly here. And then with your next exhale, relax the feet, the hands. Let the belly freely flow. So on your next inhalation, let the belly expand upward. And as you exhale, let the belly release. Let's do that one more time. Engage the feet, engage the legs, engage the hands, the arms. Again, you can tighten up the belly. And now this time I want you to clench your teeth. So squeeze your teeth, create lots of little wrinkles in your forehead. And then with your next exhalation, let your entire body surrender into the floor. Again, let the belly expand on your inhalation. Slowly exhaling. So we're just going to stay right here. Body resting. Mind staying present with the body. Not going into the rest of our day or going into the past, but staying fully present, which is so hard for us. We were created with a mind that can think forward and think back, and we're oftentimes in those two realms and never actually fully present. And we miss a lot of things because we're not present. Maybe for some of you, the mind so easily wanders, and it's really hard to stay present. The more you practice it, the more joy you find in the elements of just focusing on what's right in front of you. Take about 30 seconds of breath here. And then you can start to move your fingers and toes. You can bend your knees. And then rolling onto one side of the body. Pause there for at least 2 rounds of breath before you bring yourself up into a seated posture. Just giving the body time to acclimate from moving from one space to the other. Giving our nervous systems time to adjust. And then once you started to make your way onto sitting up tall, just lengthen up there. We're going to take our fingertips behind our head. We're going to draw the shoulders back, elbows back. Opening up the front side of the body. Lift your sternum, chin up a little here. Next, exhale, pull your elbows towards each other, chin down, round back slightly. Elbows open back up, sternum lifts, chin lifts. Arms releasing down at your side. Let's end with 2 deep breaths today. So let's inhale, reaching the arms up. Exhaling it back down. One more time, arms reaching up. And then arms releasing.